every manufacturer instruction should tell you how to get into service mode. So if someone didn't know, I wouldn't tell them. I know from all the years I've done it, I know how to get into most service modes. Some easier than others, but I wouldn't tell them. I'd say to them, right, got the manual here? Okay, brilliant. Find it. Show me in the manual how to get into service mode. Because, yeah, I understand if they never worked on that appliance before. Okay, might be a bit, it's a learning curve. You're going to learn how to get into it now, and we're going to do the test properly. But people would miss things on the commission sheet that used to drive me mad because they haven't done the checks. Maximum rate test was normally always filled in. Minimum rate test was, a lot of the time, was left blank. And I'd say to them, did you do minimum rate? They go, yeah. I said, well, you haven't written anything down. Oh, yeah, I just forgot. They didn't do it. If you'd done it, you'd write it down. That's the whole point of it being there. So things like that, if you're gonna, if you're doing these checks, just make sure it's done, because you will get pulled up on it if it's not done. And you can guarantee that one time you do an inspection and you didn't write it in, it will foul. You'll have a problem with that boiler. That appliance will have a problem. And all of a sudden you go, hang on a minute, your boiler's now at risk because it's got a problem at minimum rate. You didn't write it down. So basically you potentially left that customer with an appliance that wasn't safe from day one. Because if you had checked it, you would have known from day one. Not necessarily always the case, but it's easy to pick up on them sort of things if you haven't written anything down.
So you're saying just follow it, fill it in properly, do it properly.
Yeah, take that bit of time. Take that time to actually do the checks properly, and that same thing applies to when you're doing gas safety checks. When you're doing gas safety checks, take your time to actually do the checks properly, because too many people, and I will look through people's paperwork, and I do it now as an engineer. I go out, and if there's an existing gas safety record there, I will have a look at it, just because I'm nosy. And I will normally pick up on so many mistakes, little things where they've not filled out properly. And it will say gas rate. All right, gas rate. What's the gas rate of the? And they'll write, it's a 25 kilowatt boiler. They'll write 25. And I think, well, you haven't gas rated, have you? You've just written down what the kilowatt says on the front of the boiler. The whole point of doing it is to make sure it's working properly. So little things like that, I say to people, just spend that little bit of time getting it right, and it will not come back. Because you don't know when Gas Safe are going to want to see these records, or they're going to want to go over something you've done. And if they find Gas Safe, as an inspector, you're there to pick it apart almost. You pick something apart, the engineer won't do it again. But if you can impress them from the word go, then you haven't got nothing to worry about.